All right. Welcome, everyone. So fun to see everyone coming in. So excited to join with you on today's very powerful call. Yes, I just love these. I'm pretty sure it's Heidi that's creating these. I'll just show the one. But Carol Ray, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is Heidi the one making these? Yes.
Yes, she is.
Hey, 10 secrets for super immunity. What is the fountain of youth? You know, what is this immersion call into vibrant secrets for vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind? I can't believe it's already month eight, but eight is great, right, Mom? I was special guest. My mom is on the call and she's here to share with us. We'll get to her in a moment. But why is eight great?
Because I had 8 children and they were all
Yes, eight is great. Eight children. And because today is about Fountain of Youth, I'm so excited to interview you just in a moment. We'll get to that. But I want to welcome everyone on the call. We have some other special guests that are joining us today as well. What is the ancient secrets that can help it so your immunity is high, so you don't get sick as often or at all, is also possible. What are the ancient secrets so you can experience vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind at any age? We have some real special treat for you today, and also very applicable information. Every single immersion call, I want to make sure you walk away with very practical things that you can do. So as we go from knowing to doing, it changes our being, and that you can not only help yourself, but all those that you love. Anyone have fun on last Sunday's call with the story of Mojda? Does anyone in particular that felt like that impacted them? Ah, Mojda, you're here. Yes. Oh, we got Dr. Steven in the house. Mojda.
I
It's so fun. Your story was so fun and so inspiring on so many levels. But it's just such a good example of when you go from knowing to doing, and you were doing it, your mom is doing it. But when it
yes.
changed your being, that's the only time your dad became interested and started being open. And the fact that you loved yourself and actually did it, you immersed yourself. You're like a perfect example of immersion. You read the book and then it was like deep dive, you know, you did it. And because it changed your being, then it had contagious healing effects on everyone around you. And I just want to say thank you. Does anyone have anything they want to reflect on when you heard Mojda's story, how it impacted you? You just raise your hand or unmute yourself. I just want to hear a few people. So Mojda, you can get some reflection because it was right at the end of the call. Does anyone have anything they want to share about how that impacted them? Just you can unmute yourself. All right, Katie. Let's see here.
There. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So it's been such an interesting process to
Oh, you just muted yourself again, Katie. It was unmuted and then you just muted it.
is that better?
There, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Just fascinating to see the changes in myself, but then to be seeing people who haven't seen me in years be just astonished
Yeah.
at the progress and the change. And hearing Moshe's story just was such a good teacher of patience, because I want everybody to know, right? And I want everybody, like I show everybody the book. I tell everybody who's seeing me for the first time in years, what happened. And some people are interested in, and I've given the book and referred people for consultations, and then a lot of people are just like, oh, that's so great for you. So just patience, just having patience and trusting that being an example, a visible living miracle that people will, when it's the right time, come and say, what was that thing you were talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, you're planting seeds and some grow at different speeds, you know. But the most important is they see it in you. Like, you know, we're in the miracle experiment experience focusing on abundance, and someone came up with the idea of Shankar sharing, you know, and then
Yes.
even Mike on the call on the last call, he said it's actually Shankar being. It's because he changed so much. That's the reason Dr. Ram became interested, because he changed. Otherwise, it's just sharing a story, but it was because he was living it and glowing it. I want to know, thank you so much, Katie. And I'm so happy to see all the changes for you. And it's just continuing, which is awesome. Thank you for being
It's
here.
fantastic. And when just so John, John has been slow. I mean, he's slowly
Yeah.
implementing things
Yeah.
more and more. But right now, he's really sick. Like he's got this horrible chesty cough. And I'm a little bit off, you know, I'm a little under, but I don't have it. I think
Amazing that for years and years, he took care of you. Now you're taking care of him. It's so beautiful. Your immunity is so high that it's just affecting you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic to see.
That is amazing. And at the same time, I'm not happy he's sick. I'm so glad that you're there, and so happy today is all about immunity. What perfect timing to apply the immersion. What perfect timing. And thank you for being such a good example of totally fully going in. I'm so excited to be doing the clinic with you in Sacramento. That got filled up so fast. And I'm just really looking forward to that. I want to know from you, Moshe, anything that you didn't get to share on Sunday's call, or Dr. Steven, just about the whole story or the whole context of it all. Anything else that you're like, oh, you know, I should have shared this, or this would also be helpful from either of you?
The biggest thing from the stories is like, it's like, I'm also the same way. Like as soon as I learn something, I want to share it to everybody, and I want everyone to change. But just like remembering that it's like loving people for like who they are and what they are and what they're not, and just like giving space to people. And when people know that you love them no matter what, then they want to do more. They're like, now they don't feel like, oh, I have to do this and then she will love me because if I will do this. When they know that we really love them for who they are, then they're even more like want to like do the things. They see it that it's, I don't know, it's just that was something that I saw with my dad. Was like when he saw that I love him for who he is, and I want him to like feel better. I want him to live longer. I want him to not be in pain. But when he saw me that I love him for all of him, even if he doesn't do it, that's, I think, was another thing that he was just like, okay, now what is this? Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And you, Dr. Steven?
And a funny short story. So we went to bring a friend of mine, very disabled friend, to Toronto for some treatment, and Mojde has family there, so we got to see them. But my friend didn't come because he was just paralyzed in fear to take the ride and get there. And we were sitting in a restaurant, and I got an email from Vinay. And Vinay goes, oh, you need to see this person very close to Dr. Ram Mooney. And I'm like, oh, where does she live? Where does he live? I didn't even know it was a she. And he goes, oh, Toronto. And I'm like, oh, we're in Toronto.
Wow.
And we went to her house and took care of her. And I sat down to take her pulse. And I said, oh, I feel like this is where Dr. Naram sat and took your pulse. She goes, exactly. So all these miracles just happen when you allow for them.
Oh, so beautiful. All right, we got Elio. You want to share some thought or comment?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dr. Steven and Modej. I would like to express the fact that I think I saw Modej in Iran. Is that so?
Saw her in Iran?
Yeah, at the demonstration.
I don't know if she.
If it wasn't her, it was a carbon copy of you.
Okay, you got lots of lookalikes, Mojda.
She's there.
I was absolutely amazed. On the top of like a bridge, stone bridge, arch with a big sign, being part of the feminine problem that is in there, and she has nothing on her. She's American style dress. I'm like, damn, she is a kamikaze dealer. carbon copy new, and the name on it was yours.
Wow. Wow.
And your name was on the thing, because that's what attracted my attention. You have a very unique name, it's not too many people with that name. I was like, wow. She's
Yeah.
a firecracker, which you
That's
are.
that's where you were the other day.
That's where you went last night. Okay.
I have no idea. I have no idea, and I do not know if I can
That's
find
why
it
you keep finding
to
it.
actually take a snapshot of it.
Well, while Elio's on the call, I can share another miracle, talking about Aditi Devabawa and unexpected guests. Right before I flew to San Francisco to meet with Harry Malkin's 99-year-old mom, in the airport came the woman who hosted me in Atlanta. Her name is Colleen Marie. And she came, like, her flight arrived hours before I left. So she came to my mom's house where I was just completing the activation call. The day before, I had run out of the books in Romanian because I had given one to my friend who's a doctor, his wife, who's from Romania. And so I had Monica ordered me a couple more, and they all went so quick, but I had one left, and it was right at the front door. And I was in my mind, I'm like, who am I going to give this to? Who is this for? And right at that time, Colleen and her friend Valerica walked in, who just happened to be from Romania. And when I pulled the book in Romanian and gave it to her, she just had tears in her eyes. And she talked about, this is teaching me to never forget my roots, never forget where I came from. And Elio, who's in on Facebook very often, just happened to watch the Facebook Live we did, where all of a sudden we're holding up the book in Romanian. And so he called me and talked about that miracle happening. So I'm open and curious about how these ancient secrets, not only in our family, but in our ancestry, our roots, where we come from, and all the things happening in Iran right now, I think is Aditi Devo Bhava. Everything happening in Russia right now, everything that will be happening all over the world. Like, the book is coming out in Farsi, about to launch all through Iran. The book is about to launch in Russia, in Russian, and be available in that powerful country and in so many languages. And I'm humbled and curious and wondering, how is Dr. Naram going to carry this exactly to the people who need it at that moment? And in the experience of Mojda, being clear on her purpose, being clear on her why, following her heart and her prayers, how much healing has happened and will continue to happen. I am so excited about that. So thank you both, Mojda, Dr. Stephen, Elio, for being a part of those miracles.
Say hello to my cat.
Oh yeah, is Buddy there? Oh, Buddy. Hey, yeah, the Romanian book. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Thank you.
It was really amazing, the way I got there, because I do not look on Facebook ever, just about. I just clicked, I saw your name, I got there. She speaks Romanian. I'm like, I'm going to watch it.
I don't know if Rosa already has the book in Spanish, but I have one to give her next time I come to LA in case she doesn't. All right, I want to move on, but Mojda, Dr. Stephen, anything else you want to share?
No,
Good.
love you.
Yeah, I just saw the post and I'm like, oh, I should go on the call right now. Like,
you are so right. Good, follow that instinct. Yes. Anything you want to share about immunity or fountain of youth, Dr. Stephen? Anything in particular, anything that you've noticed that is helpful for people as they're thinking about these concepts, specifically in terms of ancient secrets for immunity, ancient secrets for fountain of youth?
The interesting thing is, I find that everyone wants to build their immunity, build their immunity, build their immunity. We really need to allow our immunity to modulate up and down. That's how it works. But if we keep building and building and building, it can burn out. That's why all the Ayashakti herbs, the ancient secrets, talk about balance, not just about building. We need to break down, we need to balance, and then we need to build up, but not overbuild, because all the symptoms that we have, she was talking about her husband having a cough and a cold, all the symptoms from viruses, bacteria, those are all your immunity, not the bacteria and the virus. That's your immunity. So our body needs to learn to modulate our immunity. We treat a lot of things with autoimmune herbs to modulate, not to just build. We have to look at that concept of balanced immunity, not just super duper immunity. So that's my share.
Oh, I like that. Thank you so much. And what about fountain of youth? Any tips or thoughts about that as you're looking at people that you're helping or people who have come in? I know you guys are excited to go, but just this last thing.
So we were at a lot of places, and people kept going, what is he, 40 something? I'm 58 and basically pain free. And that's a possibility that fountain of youth is within us. It's not anywhere outside. We just have to stop blocking it, stop getting in the way with it. And that natural immunity and that natural youth comes through.
I love it. And real quick before you go, Roma Rishi has something he wants to share, or Tara, I don't know who.
Yeah, hi. I just want to say this is a little off topic, but yesterday was a huge turning point in my life when Krishnan showed the journals that Dr. Naram kept so meticulously for so long.
Yeah.
I've always resisted journaling my entire life. I'm 74 years old and I've never written a word in a journal. Can you believe it? Even though so many of my friends journal and they tell me how important journaling is, and I resisted it. I always felt everything is in my mind. I just will remember everything. But someone in the breakout room earlier today said, just think if you had journaled when you met all the great masters that you've met. You've met so many siddhas in the Himalayas and all over India, and they gave wisdom to you, and you could have written all that down. But I always felt, well, I'll just remember it all. And obviously I can't remember it all right now. But anyway, it was a huge turning point. Krishnan showing those journals deeply, deeply affected me. And yesterday I went and Tara and I bought 5 notebooks.
Oh, yeah.
And we're starting journaling.
Can I show you some? Can I show you some other journals, Roma Rishi? These are also journals. You see these ancient manuscripts? These are the
books.
These are the books. Yeah, these are the journals of these masters.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I'm thankful they kept journals, because although we don't have them physically here.
Yes, Tara and I went to Tanjore, which is in Southeast India, and there's a library there that the king kept. He collected palm leaf books, and it's probably the largest library in the world of palm leaf books.
Well, thank you so much, Roma Rishi. And I want to say, you said on the call, I'm 74 years old and I've never kept a journal. Well, I'm telling you now, the fact that you got those journals, you just switched. Now you're 74 years young. And I'll explain why in a moment. But thank you so much for sharing that insight. Thank you. Thank you, Moshe. Thank you, Dr. Stephen. Thank you, Tara. I want to launch into this because this is life-changing. How do we view age? What is the fountain of youth? So in chapter 8, Dr. Ram, right after he sees my father, my father is thinking he's not going to live for a week. And I go into the office where Dr. Ram is eating mung soup. Oh, just one second, and I'll be with you in just one moment. I'm so excited that you're here. So Dr. Ram, he says this. First of all, he says, the truth is, I see it. Your dad has 2 options. He can continue doing what he's doing and live for a few more months in pain before he passes away. That's option 1. Or he can change his course by using Siddha Veda's 6 keys of deeper healing. Doing so, he could live many more years with flexibility, energy, and presence of mind. Which do you prefer, Clint? Of course, the second option. But how? I asked, surprised by the confidence Dr. Ram had about my dad's prognosis. Do you remember how I met my master? Dr. Ram asked. Yes, how could I forget? How many days did my master tell me to come tomorrow? And I like this because in the Shankar sharing program, we had a challenge activity to share this story. So Dr. Ram, I said 100 days. Yes, 100 days or 3 months. For those 3 months, I was outside the room. I'm not just sitting there. I was doing research like you're doing now. I talked to patients about their problems. I saw people suffering from chronic diabetes, arthritis, heart problems, kidney problems, osteoporosis, different kinds of cancer, liver problem, many other things. I spoke to people who came back months or years after doing what my master told them to do and saw big transformations in them as a direct result of deeper healing. Do you remember how old my master was? Before I could answer, he said, 115 years. I was extremely curious by what he was doing differently from others, so I spent the last 36 years learning my master's secrets and using them to help people. Would you like to know what, according to him, the secret to the fountain of youth is? I nodded. Who wouldn't want to know? Slowly, Dr. Ram continued. I'm not exactly sure why I'm sharing this with you, Clint, but I get a feeling perhaps you'll be an instrument in helping many others. I didn't know how to respond to that. As I was on the fringe of believing him and everything he was saying, a flicker of worry came into my mind that perhaps I'd end up discovering he was a fraud, preying on the hopes or the desperate. The closer I got to him, the more I started to care, and in some ways I also became more guarded. If he was a fraud, would I end up debunking his clinic once and for all? Instead of helping him promote his ancient healing method, would I become instrumental in protecting him, other people from him? I got a little bit emotional there because it's been a while since I read that. But just going to keep continuing here. So what is the ancient secrets for staying young? Dr. Ram's face reflected a deep inner peace and confidence as he looked directly into my eyes. He told me that with these secrets, anyone can experience vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind at any age. He said, first, you must have a clear idea of what is youth. Only then you can know the secret of staying young. As Dr. Ram continued, he took out pictures to show me. Here is a picture of Babaji, one of my master's brothers. He's living in the Himalayas and he's 139 years young. And he showed me the picture. Then he pulled out another photo. He said, here is Sadanand Gogoi, who became Mr. India at 65 years young. This is his body now at the age of 70. I stared at the muscular body that looked like it belonged to someone in their 40s. I don't know if you can see this picture, but even better than that, today on the call, we have the live person. Sadanand. Yes. Welcome, welcome. Can you unmute yourself? Let's see if you can. Oh, good. I just read this little section. Dr. Ram said he's using the ancient secrets for bodybuilding muscles and mind without damaging his kidneys. The dream of this man after winning Mr. India 5 times is now to compete for Mr. Universe. And I just want to say, Sadanand, I love the relationship that you had with Dr. Ram, that you have with your body, that you have with the fountain of youth. And so I'm so happy you're on this call. Can you share a little bit, how did you meet Dr. Ram to start with? And what attracted you to him? What attracted you to each other?
In fact, when I was coming from my Mr. Asia Master Championship, so during those intense training, I had developed a back pain. And so allopathy treatment, you know, they give the painkiller and all this. So I happened to read one article with about this Ayushakti Hospital and Dr. Pankaj Naraman is there. Then I thought that, no, I must try this one now. This is a different kind of therapy. And then I went to him, meet him. And then he gave me some marma. And then he come to know about my bodybuilding. And then he also come to know my age. So he got so excited. And then that is the beginning. I think it is in the year 2000. I am talking about 2000. Yeah. I was associated with Dr. Dharam 2000 to 2018. And his enthusiasm, his childlike enthusiasm towards the that youthfulness. And he accompanied me to many of the bodybuilding championship in for my Mr. India and championship. And always he like you know, that childlike enthusiasm, very excited. What we do in the before coming to the stage, he comes to the background, and then where we apply ourselves oil and all those things, and he's very into. And
I just want to share a couple pictures. This is not from even very long ago. And what's your age now, Sadanand? What's your age now?
I'm 77 now.
77 years young. And look
This
at this.
this photo is last year.
Last
That's,
year. It's
yeah, yeah.
amazing. And then I like this photo too. This is when you met Dr. Ram originally
Yeah, yeah. He come to my place for my birthday.
with Dr. Ram and Smita.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
yeah.
this is from one of the last times that you met with him.
Last,
Jack
yeah,
Infield was there. Yeah.
Yes,
Right before
yes,
Dr. Ram left for his final trip, you know?
yeah, I know. I really,
Mm. So beautiful. Even whenever I would go to India, then Sadhanan became our weight trainer. I wasn't expecting when I went to India to visit this master healer, Dr. Naram, that I would expect to go to the clinic, you know, to have remedies, different stuff. But when I was at his home, he says, would you also like to be trained by Mr. India? I was like, okay. And Sadhanan would take time with the weights and teach us the proper way to do the weights, to do the stretching. And it was so joyful because he also had such a good mindset. Dr. Ram says he loves Sadhanan because his mindset was one of so much youthfulness, so much possibility. Dr. Ram even gave us some examples, some samples of the herbal supplements that these great masters used to use. And we actually had tested our blood, all our blood work, our testosterone, our different levels before. We take the herbs and take the diet, and then afterwards we get the test again, and we'd see testosterone's increase, you know, HGH increase, and all these kind of things. He would use me and Sadhanand as guinea pigs for anything new about youth, about bodybuilding, and some of the best formulas came from that. One of them is in the book called Maharaja Secret, you know, one of those home remedies. Now, Sadhanand, what would you say is a secret to the fountain of youth for you? What things have helped you with this?
I feel that you should remain stress free and take the things as it comes. Okay, don't get disappointed if you don't get something. And also for me, fitness training every day, at least if not every day. For me, I do almost every day.
You also do yoga too? You do yoga as well?
I do yoga and meditation as well.
Yeah.
Meditation and yoga in the morning. Okay, I got up very early morning, and then I finish up those. Then I go to the gym, and gym is a kind of a temple for me. So and that's surrounded by the young guys. Still, they couldn't build their muscles, but I have now. So that surprised them. So that keeps me going. By when I see the enthusiasm in them, so I 100% that physical activities, and because I am from the weight training, so weight training combining with your nutritious food, moong soup, and then there. So biggest matters, and that comes from within. From within, if you do the weight training and all this yoga and meditation, it comes from within. You don't have to. Nobody should say any pep talk or anything, because it comes on its own. So, and that is very, very important at this time.
I want to just point out some powerful things, you know, because we're talking about the ancient secrets. And if you notice, when I asked him the question, the secret of youth for him, the first thing that he said wasn't diet. It wasn't herbs. It wasn't weight training. It was actually mindset. And why is, you know, we think about Atiti Devabhava in terms of the miracle experiment game, or Atmiyata in terms of a good way of living, but we don't often think of it as a secret for longevity. But the truth is that by seeing the unexpected guest as God himself or herself, or Atmiyata, no matter how someone treats us, we can respond with love. It creates a more stress-free life possibility. And also by focusing on what do you want instead of what don't you want. It's the food you feed here that impacts all of your body, mind, and emotions, increases the possibility of living with good immunity, with a long life and with a high quality of life, with vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind. I love how Luke in the miracle experiment experience right now, he's like, I can't believe how much energy I have. And you notice the miracle experiment experience, it's not about diet, not yet, but it's just from mind diet, our food diet that we feed our brains and our hearts.
Yes.
So much can
100%.
happen. And so Sadhanand also, in the 6 secret keys of Siddha Veda, Dr. Ram talked about, one of them is lifestyle, meditation, exercise, yoga. What books do you read? Who are your friends that you spend time with? What are you feeding yourself with, the movies and the TV or whatever you're watching? Is it nourishing you? Is it in making you enthusiastic? And Sadhanand's a good example. He's an inspiration for everyone he meets, but he's constantly feeding himself with inspiration as well. Sadhanand, so thankful you joined the call. I know it's almost 11 p.m. there. We're grateful that you hopped on. Anything else you want to share today?
I'd like this community should remain healthy, and whatever feedback I have given, because this is journey I have taken that which maybe it is a less travel journey, because at the end of the day everybody wants to remain young, youthfulness. Okay, so that mindset, what you're talking about, that mindset you have to and must do some kind of a weight training plus this nutrition. And at the end of the day, I'm sure you'll find out this is one has to experience by himself or herself. I'm wishing you all the best. This community should grow. And I spoke to that fellow, Indian fellow, what is his name, Abhinav Anubhav or something.
Oh yeah,
Gujarati version of this.
Yeah,
He showed me. It is getting ready. He showed me Gujarati version, and probably it will come in Hindi also. And once it comes in Hindi, I'm sure there will be. Maybe I may try to my mother tongue, Assamese, and that's it. So let the Hindi version come first.
I'm so excited to give that to you as my gift with love, Sadhanand, and just sending you so much love, you and your family.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. So beautiful. Sadhanand is such a good example of fountain of youth and what it means to live, to be young at any age, 77, 78. Also, I just want to acknowledge Roma Rishi. When Dr. Ram's talking about youth means flexibility, at age 75 to decide, okay, I've done something my whole life, which is never use a journal. Now I'm going to start using a journal. That's flexibility. That is youth. That's why you become 74 years young. I want to continue. Dr. Ram says, fondly looking at another picture, Dr. Ram told me about Kusuma Tit, who is now 86 years young. She was one of his first patients. When she came to him at the age of 56, she couldn't walk, had high blood pressure, osteoporosis, arthritis, was planning on hip replacement. What do you think happened to her when she started using the youth secrets? I shrugged. The woman who could not even walk before won first prize in a Bombay dancing competition, he said triumphantly. I was shocked. I felt joy like you can't imagine. And I just, for the fun of it, actually right before I do anything else, I want to make sure if you guys want to connect with Sadhanand. Sadhanand, can you put in the chat if people want to connect with you, how to connect with you? I just want to make sure people have that option. And then right now I'm going to share the video when I was with this amazing woman who came when she was 56 in a wheelchair. And this was when she was in her 80s. This is so fun. It's so fun. That's from the bonus videos that go along with each chapter. We just put that in there. But if that's possible for Kusum, what's possible for us? He showed me another picture of his master. This was when he was 115 years young, and I was blessed to have 10 years with him before he left his body. I'm so blessed to have 10 years with Dr. Ram before he left his body. My master died at the age of 125. Throughout my training, I received such secrets, wisdoms, powerful insights, and truths from him. Now let me share them with you. He asked me, what does youth mean to you, Clint? How do you know if a person is young or old? I offered some ideas. Okay, right now in the chat, I want you to put what makes a difference between someone being old and young. What makes the difference? I just want to hear from you. Just go ahead and put in the chat, whatever is your thought. I said maybe how they look, their state of mind, the quality of their skin or their hair. Let's see here. Oh, Sadanan, thank you for putting your WhatsApp number. Randy says attitude. Katie, attitude. Michelle, the differences in their mind. Patricia, attitude. We got, oh, a lot of people thinking the same. Esther, age is just a number. It's a state of mind. Sarabjit, be happy. Kaylee, enthusiasm. Jody, gratitude. Kaylee, memory. Beautiful. So now this is what Dr. Ram said. Dr. Ram smiled. Quote, my master said a person can be 20 years old or 100 years young. How can a person be 20 and another old at 20 and another young at 100? Like, I think we can all agree Sadanand is young at 77. How can he be young when someone could be 20 years old? How? It all depends on flexibility, he said. Someone can be only 20 years old if he's physically rigid, mentally stubborn, and emotionally dry. Or a person can be 100 years young if he's physically flexible, mentally alert and willing to learn, emotionally full of love. Interesting, don't you think? Dr. Ram said. I paused to take it in. So youth is about flexibility in mind, body, and emotions? He said, yes, Clint, exactly. That's how my lineage understands youth. I needed clarification. So the secret to being young at any age is learning how to be flexible? Dr. Ram nodded and added that youth is possible at any age if your lifestyle is aligned with your inner nature. Quote, young people are full of hope. Old people lose hope. If you watch the news, everything is about fear, disasters, having a hard time that's coming. So many people project horrible things coming in the future, and that makes them anxious. Their life experiences often leave them hurt, afraid, heartbroken, and closed down. And you can see that could happen to people at any age. You could be 20 years old. If you lose hope, you think of bad times coming. To be young at any age is to stay full of hope for the future, hope for yourself, hope for humanity, and you can be young like this even at 115. What a perfect time for this message now on planet Earth. With everything happening around us, anything that could come on the planet, we can be young if we're flexible, we can adapt, and we see the gift in it, the God himself or herself arriving in that a good time, a better time is coming. So if that's your definition of youth, I asked, I'm still not clear how someone can live to such an advanced age. Dr. Ram said, most anyone can live more than 100 years if they want to. All you need are the Siddha Veda's 6 keys of deeper healing. What are those 6 keys, I asked. He said, you've already seen some of the keys at work. Let's see how many you can identify. And then he tested me on a lot of stuff after that. I want to say, I'll just see a raise of hands, because in this chapter, Dr. Ram shares with me the super secret recipe, or the secret recipe for super energy. I just want to see who's experienced this. When I surprised Elio, tried to surprise him, showed up at his house, he had it ready and made as I arrived at the door. But I want to see who's tried the recipe for energy. Just some hands I want to see. Okay. And who's done the recipe for immunity? Who's done the recipe for immunity? Okay, good. For those who haven't, this is one of your challenge activities in the immersion experiences. Definitely have these remedies, have the ingredients, and make them, experience them. Do it for a period of time in which you can see the benefit. Just do it. Make it so that way you know how to make it. So that way when someone in your life needs it, you have it ready inside of you. You know how to make it taste good, or you know how to make it. You have the ingredients in your home. Who knows when some supply chain will stop? I want you to have a food storage with the ingredients for the home remedies that you want in your emergency kit, and this is one of them. Then the other thing is this. Who's noticed that during the miracle experiment experience, I'm putting a focus on making sure in the morning activation call, it's not just talking, but it's moving our bodies. Anyone notice that? It was kind of a sneaky thing that I wanted to make sure happened, because wealth is health. Abundance is health. Sadanand is always moving his body. He's not only feeding his mind, but he's doing yoga. He's going to the gym. He's exercising. And we have such a static culture nowadays, staring at computers and being on phones and sitting on the couch and watching the TV. We don't even have to leave our home anymore for work, because everything with COVID made it so we're inside. So also part of this immersion challenge activity, if you're in the miracle experiment experience, you're doing it fully, it's easy because we're doing it in the mornings, but that will end on October 23rd. I don't want this practice to end then. Really making it a priority to move your body every day in terms of yoga, swimming, exercise, you choose. And based on your dosha, based on what you love to do. Some people love running. Some people love whatever it is, but just make sure that you're exercising or stretching, moving your body every day. That's going to help keep you flexible, help keep your mind also calm, balanced, alert. Because no matter what, Atiti Devo Bhava, no matter what unexpected things happen in our life, we want to be in a position where physically, mentally, and emotionally able to meet them and be optimistic about, with lots of hope about the better future coming. One of the people who mirrors this to me the most is my mom. I don't know, Mom, if you could put your video on, but I'm so happy to have her on this call. I don't know if she's able to come on right now, but Mom, are you there? Let's see here. Yes, there we go. Yay.
I was just having a nice nap.
Oh, that's awesome. That's an important part of lifestyle. That's an important part of that secret. Well, the idea to have my mom on was from Carol Ray. And so Carol, I'm going to bring you on as well. You're also such a great example of living young at any age. I want to open it up for anyone to ask my mom questions, because she's such a good example to me of living young. And I'm not sure if I should ask your age, but if it's okay, would you just tell
You
people?
don't remember how old I am.
I just want you to say it instead of me saying it.
Oh, yeah. 79.
79 years young, 8 kids, and how many grandkids?
28.
28 grandkids.
And 2 greats.
And 2 grandkids. She's a great twice, a great grandmother. And Mom, what's been your experience? I'll ask a couple questions and I'm going to open it up and people can ask questions to my mom or to Sadhanan, but what has been your experience with the ancient secrets and feeling younger for yourself and for other people that you've been helping?
Eating well and being active.
And from eating well and being active, what have you noticed in terms of feeling younger?
Well, after I did the 28 detox or ate mung bean soup on a regular basis, the pain in my knees were gone that kept me from doing a lot of activities.
Yeah, and when the pain went away, you just had more mobility, more flexibility.
And I could volunteer to do more things.
What kind of stuff, just for fun, do you want to tell some people what kind of stuff you volunteer doing?
Well, on Saturday morning, I help at a food bank that gives out food to the homeless or to anybody that needs food. They don't have to meet any requirements. They just drive up in their car and wait in line.
Yeah.
And I retired from teaching special needs kids in 2013, and I go back and volunteer. Not volunteer, they pay me as a sub to work in the classrooms or in the seminary that is associated with that school.
Yeah, it's so beautiful because at 79, she's helping kids that sometimes can't move very well, or sometimes they get aggressive, or sometimes there's just so many things happening, but they love having my mom there. And at the school, she's helped other people too, to feel younger, more flexibility and healthier. I don't know if you want to share any of those stories. We heard one of them on Sunday's call, but Rachel, who she enrolled and helped be a part of the 28-day detox, she said not only the pain in her back went away, but she was afraid she was going to have surgery. She was preparing for it. Not only the pain went away, but she discovered she loved herself more. I think that's so beautiful. And you've helped many other people too. I wanted to show, if I can, but any of you want to speak to that, Mom, real quick while I'm loading this picture?
Well, the other day I was in seminary and there was a young girl that will not sit still. She just roams the room and reaches and everything. And she finally sat down on the floor, and I sat down on the floor and did the marma points on her head and her lip and her ear and her finger. And other teachers looked at her and look at how well she's relaxing. And she just sat there for the longest time, not getting up and moving. And they says, this is amazing.
One of the other people that I was so surprised that my mom helped was one of her cousins, I think. Is this your cousin, Mom?
Yep, that's my cousin.
Yeah, he's 88. And he said at first I never remember visiting with him, but he came to our home last time I was there, 88. And my mom had given his wife the book a year ago. Now, one of the first things he said in the context of our conversation, he was angry at my mom. He's like, I'm mad at you. She's like, why? He's like, because you didn't pressure us to read the book. It took a year. He's like, I wish I would have read it earlier. In the intervening year, he'd spent over $5,000 on different programs to help him with the pain level, the sciatica, and different things that were happening. He said just from reading the book in only about 3 or 4 weeks, he was already maybe 80% less on certain medications. It was so beautiful. Even I don't know if the video will play here, but he's talked about how this is my new favorite book because it's the most useful book in my life. And he says, instead of spending all that money, I just had to learn which foods to eat, which herbs to take. And then he came from Marma, but I just loved it. 88 and having that much decrease of medications, that much more possibility, that much more hope, that much more confidence. And Mom, what were you thinking when he was sharing this? Oh, here, I think I got the video to play, actually. Let me see if I can play it just real quick here.
You're 88 years young.
Nope.
Yeah. And my mom gave him the book probably 2 years ago.
Okay, here.
Got buried, and he got angry at my mom.
Oh, we heard that part already. Oh, it may take a while to load, but Mom, what was your reaction as he was sharing?
Well, I've given the book to a lot of people, and I think they just put it on the bookshelf. So I was delighted that he had found the book and it was making a difference in his life.
Yeah, me too. He reminded me so much of my grandpa, actually. My mom's father had that same disposition, grew up in a little town called Kanab, Utah, where lots of the John Wayne movies were shot. And to have him from Kanab, Utah, having such a powerful experience, it made me so happy. All right, I want to open up. Carol, you have some questions for my mom?
One about self-love, I think. You know, when you have a huge family like that, 8 children, and you're active in all the community stuff, the school stuff, how did you find time for yourself and to show, and what ways did you show self-love for yourself?
I think in order to have self-love, you first have to know how much God loves you, and to feel his love for you and his arms wrapped around you, you realize your value. I don't think that my kids growing up knew that I loved them, because I did not come from a family that showed it with hugs or speaking it or anything like that. But I think they all know I love them now because I tell them often, and my self-love is choosing the things that I love to do and replenish my soul that in doing those things so that it is always in abundance.
Beautiful.
Yeah, such a beautiful question. If anyone else has any questions for my mom or for Sadanand, I want you to put them in the chat. Sadanand, I want you to meet my mom, and I want my mom to meet you. I know you guys haven't met each other before, but Mom, this is Sadanand. Sadanand, this is my mom. I'm just happy that you're both on the same call talking about the fountain of youth and about immunity. I just want to say, Sadanand, as you're hearing my mom speak, any comments or feedback you want to share with her about youthfulness?
I'm sure she is very enthusiastic towards life, and then so that makes and also a very God-loving person. So he always experienced the God's love, and then what I found out.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I know you're the same way, Sadanand. I know from your Facebook page and different things that you have the same kind of feeling. Now, for both of you, I want to ask you this question. what do you want? What do you want, Sadanand? And then for my mom, what do you want? And maybe as a community, we can support you in some way. Sadanand, what do you want?
I want to travel all over the world, and of course, if possible, some places I can work, I can help people. Okay, that is my one of my bucket list to
I know.
see all.
Yeah. At one point, I know you were looking to possibly want to move to Canada or USA and work in some capacity, but it sounds like you want to
Yeah,
travel. And if you can, work
yeah,
in some way
yeah.
with your
Canada,
wife.
USA, Europe, even Europe, anywhere.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I want to
So,
hold this in our intention, in our mind, and said Sandanan and his wife so much love that this desire of their heart to be able to travel and work in Europe and USA and Canada can be fulfilled. We love you and we're with you, Sadhanand.
thank you.
Beautiful. And for
And
you,
another thing I want to add,
yeah.
at that exercise, of course, I wrote it in the set that it also stimulates your creativity. Uh, my first romantic poetry book will be published next month. So I'm very excited for that.
Wow, I want to read the book. Please let us know. A romantic poem book. Fantastic.
So it is people say that people cannot fall in love after 70 years. Should not write romantic poem. Today evening only I heard it. That I said that no, it is not true. My romantic book is coming after at the age of 77 next month.
That is so beautiful, Sadhanand. We're gonna have you come on and share some of the poems on some of our Sunday calls. Would love
Yeah,
that.
I will. I love to do that.
Beautiful. Thank you. And for you, Mom, what is it that you want? What is your number one priority in your life right now?
To feel God's love every day and be able to share it with those I meet.
It's so beautiful. In fact, in the last time I did Marma, part of it is asking, what do you want? And my mom, we were doing Marma and asked, what do you want? And she says, I want to be a beacon. I want to share God's love. And then I was like, well, see yourself, it's happening. How is it happening? She's like, she just put out this big smile. She's like, I see myself giving your book to lots of people. I was like, oh, that made me so happy.
I figured out the method to get them to read it, because I had my yearly appointment with the physician that I gave the book, and says, I'm only going to give it to you if you're going to read it. And he didn't mention it when I came back in. So I don't know if he read it or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. How do we give the book in terms of people reading it? I was just listening to this, oh man, this is such a fun message. It's not directly related to what we're talking about, but it is so fun that if I can, I'll share it with you. A woman in Germany had given the book to her mother. And when she gave the book to her mother, this is the funny thing that happened, that unfolded. Let me see if I can share this with you. It's just so lovely. I've shared, many of you have heard this story. And if you know Annabelle, okay, here it is. This is fun.
And just relax.
Okay, here it is.
Good morning, Clint. I know it's a bit odd, but I want to share a quick story. You know that my mom has this book, and even so, she hasn't read it completely. She just always flicks through. A lot of other people did, which is interesting. So it seems that she has it lying in her flat, and the people who come into her flat are buying your book. And she has a new partner, and he's a priest. Protestant priest, put it this way. And so he is reading it whenever my mom is doing something and he sits down to calm his mind and just relax. He's reading a book. And he started to do the mama points, even on my mother, like in the face, in the forehead, pressing 6 times to improve being more peaceful and present and focused. So yes, I just want to share this with you because I think it's fantastic what a single book can do by just lying there, how it spreads. And I believe the right people picking up on this. Absolutely. So it's meant to be. And it's just fascinating because he is a priest. And he's spiritual, and that's very cool. So I'm sure in the future, my intuition is telling this, he will build something into his when he speaks
sermons,
his mass. So anyways, I just want to let you know, that's all. Have a great day. Talk to you then. Bye.
So, anyway, thank you, Mom. I just want all of us to send a lot of love to my mom, that her desire to be a conduit of God's light and love will be happening, and she'll feel the gratitude, appreciation for it. We love you, and we're with you, Mom. Thank you so much. I want you to see the faces real quick. I'll go to gallery view if you can see. All right. I just kind of feel let's all be unmuted. Oh, just 1 second. I want to see if we can all just unmute ourselves and just say, I love you and I'm with you, to Sadhanan, to my mom, and to everyone. Let's see if you can unmute yourself. One more time, put our hands together. Oh, yeah.
I love you, Sadhanan, and love you, Millie.
And I'm with you.
I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
I love you.
Steven, love you and I'm with you.
Sadhanan, love you, Millie. Love you so much.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you.
And I'm with you.
And I'm with you, Millie.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Mom, for joining us, Sadhanan for joining us. Now for the immersion experience, these are the challenge activities. 1, do the immunity. If you don't know, if you haven't done the immunity drink, start doing it. 293, make sure you have those ingredients in your home. Actually, Mom, coming back to you just real quick. Oh, she's already off the camera, but one of my favorite stories is about her taking this immunity drink for the first time. Do you remember that, Mom, when you took it for the first time? Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Let me see here.
I think I told, what did I tell you it tasted like?
Well, some of the other remedies, when she'd try them as a guinea pig, she'd say, this one tastes like dirt, but when she tried the immunity remedy, when I mixed it for her, she was about to go to school, starting to get sick, and I mixed it. She's like, oh, this tastes like liquid ginger snaps, And then the next day went to school, not sick, took it one more time in the morning, and then no problem. And we make this one regularly. We love making this one.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about the immunity drink, Mom?
I think it keeps me healthy.
Yeah.
I don't remember to drink it until I start to feel slightly ill. And then I think, oh, I've got to take some immunity tea.
Yeah, good. So your challenge activity is take it before you get sick. In this case, in this week, because we got a lot coming with the end of the miracle experiment experience for those who are participating fully in it. And in so many ways, what's coming up, you want to have your best self. Take the super energy drink, do an experiment with that. If you haven't before, make sure you take that, and then find some way every day to move your body. Mom, you do movement. What do you do? Stretches? Is that what you do?
It's called, it's a full body workout with stretching and strengthening. But it's only on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I have to remember those days.
Yeah, good. It's nice. At least if you do 3 days a week, but if you do every day, then it's easy to remember. And thank you, Mom, for being a great example of that. So having said that, these are the immersion activities for this month. Share with your celebration partner. If you don't have a celebration partner, share with someone in this group. Find a new celebration partner or integrate your celebration partner in some way. Make sure that you have someone to hold you accountable. So that way you can be really fully engaging in this immersion experience. And then those in the miracle experiment experience focusing on abundance, experience an abundance of health, experience abundance of creativity. Like Sadhanan says, when your body is healthy, so much creativity comes. Maybe you'll be doing artwork like Judy Lamar or music like Esther Francis, who are 2 amazing examples of the Fountain of Youth. I just want to spotlight you because I love you so much. And having said that, and Esther Francis, such creative, beautiful, powerful forces of good on the planet. Now, I was going to wait to do this privately, Judy Lamar, but just since you're here right now, we have we have these golden angels, and we know with love you're definitely invited and you've been nominated, and we want to give you the invitation to join the Golden Angel Council.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So on Sunday's call, we'll introduce you properly. It'll be a 1 to 3 year commitment, and we'll give you all the details and everything like that.
Okay.
But just with love, we knew you had to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. Most blessed and grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
Good. So that's another way of speaking of being young at any age. We need the wisdom. And why not also have the wisdom packaged in a flexible, youthful body with lots of energy, which is exactly what I see Judy Lamar, Esther Francis, and all the people on the Golden Angel Council being. Having said that, we have completed the hour, but there's a bonus section for those that can stay on longer. Carol Ray has prepared a fantastic slide deck and some very powerful breathing and then information about cholesterol. Carol Ray, you want to talk about what this is? And then right after that, we'll go into breakout rooms for those who can still be on the call just to integrate fully what we've been talking about. So Carol Ray, you want to talk about what's coming up next?
I do, but first I want to just tell my story briefly that January of 2020, I had just come from having steroid shots in both my hips and my bursa joints because I could hardly walk. And I'd been taking antibiotics for 5 years because I have a genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos, and it causes organ prolapse and intestinal issues, and I can't absorb food. And I just, I was really in a terrible place. My spine at 50 was equivalent to an 89-year-old. I took shots every day for 2 years at $750 a month copay for a drug that was $2,500 a month for my advanced osteoporosis, even at 50. So imagine the difference. If you could see me now, I can go upstairs without a hesitation. One, I have almost no pain in my lower back and hips, and I'm still have a couple of things I'm really working on. One is my cholesterol. I've got it down from 280 to 220, so I have a ways to go, but it's hereditarily high. My mom's was in the 400s, sometimes 500s. So that's what I'm working on. And so I've done research on it. I thought I might share that with you. One other little piece of research is that we have scientific proof that prayer and meditation and things like the ancient secrets add longevity to our life. There's a little marker at the caps of our chromosomes called telomeres. And those telomeres, for people who do meditation and yoga and who are spiritually minded, are growing their telomeres longer so that they're living longer and happier. So that's what I have to share coming up if you can stay. And if not, peace be with you, and so glad that you showed up today.
So beautiful. So I would encourage you to stay on if you can. This is a beautiful opportunity to go deeper into learning the ancient secrets. Come on tomorrow's call. We have a real special treat. Gary Malkin, we have Sarah McCrum from Australia joining and talking about her book, Money, Love Money, Money Loves Me, which is all tied into the Miracle Abundance Game. And then also Larry Weingarten is coming with a very beautiful mystical thing that happened to him, which I think will anchor in this whole idea of living in a state of gratitude, living in a state of miracles. So join tomorrow's call. And then if you're in the Miracle Experiment experience, for sure, the breakout rooms are happening where you'll be able to meet with your small group, where I think most of the miracles happen. Now, in the immersion experience, those are the challenge activities. I'm excited to, I'll follow up next month. I want to hear what's happening, and handing it over to you, Carol. Okay. And also, Carol, I'm right now with Gary Malkin at the, it's called Association of Transformational Leaders, and I'm supposed to present soon. Okay. So I'm going to step off the call, and I just made you a host so that way you can stop the recording and create the breakout rooms for those that want to stay on, and just really ingrain, anchor in what everyone's been learning today.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. So I want to take a few minutes for those of you who want to stay to do a little bit of breath work. And some of you who've come from the 100 days or the path or some of the other programs are aware of how we have the 5 elements that fit into our doshas. Doshas is a life, it's kind of, you're born with a constitution, and each of the 3 dosha is made up of 2 elements. The 5 elements are earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And we have a breath work that goes with each of those. And I just think it's such a interesting thing to pay attention to. And I think if you only did 2 things to help yourself to stay young, to feel vibrant, it would be take ghee every day. You can either take a couple of teaspoons, just take it by itself, or you can put it in hot water. But ghee is so wonderful to start your day. And then the second thing I think is breath work. If you can just focus on the breath and use that time to still and calm yourself. So I'm just going to teach you the 5 elements breath. It's not very long, and I think you'll find it interesting. So picture in your body grounding, put your hands down on your belly and picture the earth as you're grounding to the spine is going down like a tree root, and your hands are on your lower abdomen and or tops of your legs if you're seated and picture yourself grounded to the earth. The earth breath comes from down low. We filled up our bellies first and then our lungs, and it's in the nose and out the nose. So it's a pretty common standard breath. So we're going to do it 5 times. And remember, we are all earth. So inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Remember, we are all earth. Inhale through your nose, fill your belly, fill your lungs. Exhale through your nose. We are all earth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. We are all earth. So we let that grounding be a part of who we are on a daily basis. If you move your hands up just a little bit below your belly button and just above the pelvic bones, that is the second area that we're going to refer to as water. It's kind of over your bladder area, might help you remember water. And the water breath is in through the nose and out the mouth. This is one that's really easy for me. So we're going to do the water breath. And remember, we are all water. Our bodies are like 95% water. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So the water breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. This first one is in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Remember, we are all water. The third breath is at your solar plexus, around your navel in the middle of your body. And this is fire. Remember, fire in your belly. The fire breath is a little bit hard for me. You have to take air in your mouth and out your nose. So picture yourself a dragon breathing fire out his nose, and you can kind of get a picture of the fire breath. So we're going to breathe in from the mouth, out through the nose. In through the mouth, out through the nose. In through the mouth. In through the mouth. In through the mouth. Last one, in through the mouth, out through the nose. The fire breath. We are all fire. And then the lungs, put your hands on your lungs. This is your air element in your body. And this one is in the mouth and out the mouth. So this one is pretty easy for some and might be hard for others. So first breath in your mouth, out your mouth. In your mouth, out. In, out. In, out. That is our air breath. We are all air. Then ether is around our throat and in our mouth. And this is 5 short breaths in and out, make 1. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. So those are the 5 elements of breath work. And I hope anybody have anything to comment about that? Any did you like it? Did you not like it? Is it different?
What was the last one?
The ether.
Okay.
Carol, these are beautiful. I
And
just
the
wanted
hands?
to clarify. Sorry, Ilya, go ahead.
Hands on the ether?
I'm sorry?
The hands on the ether?
Oh, around throat chakra.
Third chakra.
Mm-hmm. So its root
you.
chakra is earth. The second chakra is for water. The solar plexus is for fire. And then around the heart and lungs is for air, and ether is in the third chakra. I also have mudras to go with these. So the next time I'll add the mudra, and can share that as well. But anybody else have a question or comment on the breath work?
Yeah, this is Sarojit, Carol. I was just thinking the fire breath, I just wanted to clarify on that one. Some say that, Kapal Bharti, that fire breathing, that one is fire breath. So I don't know if like rapid breathing, short breaths. So is that also part of the fire breath or no?
I don't know. I just was following one of the yogic things for the fire breath. So I'm sure there's a lot of variation on all of these.
Okay.
Some of the short breaths are done through the nose, and there's some that are, you do it through the nose if you're, so there's right and left, for heat or cold. There's so many variations. So I'm sure
that one, that is the one I do every morning, alom vilom, close one and then do it through the other and then do it. I do that 7 times for each of the chakras.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. We used to call that one Sufi mother breathing. Peggy, you had a question?
Yeah, thank you, Carol. I was just curious. So she said 7, you do 5. And of course, with the ancient secrets, everything is 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, whatever.
Yeah.
So just as a thought.
Yeah, the reason I do 5 is because it's the 5 elements.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah. You could actually add a 6th one for unity, but I thought I was just going to keep it to the 5 elements.
Yeah, very nice.
And just for a reminder for those of you who haven't studied a lot on doshas, the kapha dosha is made up of earth and water. The pitta or fire dosha is made up of water and fire. And the vata dosha is made up of air and ether. So people who are high vata are moving all the time, and they're like the wind, right? Lots of motion. And a person who has pitta has they usually like hot peppers for one. You might see some rough skin. Red skin is kind of a pitta trait. And a kapha person has beautifully oily skin, luxurious thick hair, and they're usually very well grounded people. So it's interesting when we look at the elements in terms of our dosha. Okay. And this is all a really good reminder for me, since I am turning 72 in a week from Monday. Oh my gosh. And I'm so grateful to have the ancient secrets in my life that have made me feel happy and healthy and terrific, and that I get a chance to celebrate with people like you. So this is exciting for me. So the one little thing no antibiotics, no steroids, except for a wasp sting that caused anaphylactic shock. But aside from that, I haven't had any steroids in well over 2 years. And Irish Shakti diet has worked so well in my life to really help with my immunity and digestion. I don't eat salads anymore. I eat salads every day, and I was sick every day. So it's really important to find out for your dosha, for your lifestyle, what works for you. So if you haven't had that Vaidya consult, or been able to meet with Dr. Clint for a pulse consult, it's just, so much to that. So I'm going to try to share my screen, and our beautifully talented Heidi Aiden at Lions Pen Graphics has done it again and created a beautiful screen here. Let's see if I can. Are you able to see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So my mom was, we called her Tiny Tough. She was 4'10" and weighed 90 pounds, but yet had this terribly high cholesterol. It would be 400s, 500s sometimes. I think the worst we ever saw it was in the 600s. And that's really high. Your cholesterol levels above 200 are considered problematic. So even though she was really tiny and didn't eat a lot, she still had type 2 diabetes and this high cholesterol. So I've been on a quest via Irish Shakti and Ancient Secrets to really.
I don't understand. I'm right now on a Zoom call. I've got a 30-day Zoom thing I'm doing.
Can you mute them, Carol?
Let's see. I can't see who's
what?
Who's talking that. Let's see if this does it. I'm sorry about that. I think I got it. Okay. I study a lot about this because I'm trying to learn it, right? This is what I'm trying to apply to myself. So I didn't understand that cholesterol, high cholesterol, unhealthy cholesterol, which is your LDL, is linked to cancer. It leads to arterial sclerosis, and it's also very prevalent in autoimmune disorders. So I thought cholesterol was just, something that, clogged up your veins a little bit, but I never associated it with autoimmune or with things, to do with cancer. And another thing that I didn't realize was that as we age, we have problems with our feet and legs. And a lot of times the root cause of that is cholesterol that has built plaque in our arteries for our feet and legs. So neuropathy, if you have diabetes, is made worse by some of the cholesterol deposits. So that's part of my motivation for today. So this leg pain that occurs is the peripheral arteries that get clogged with these plaques that come from our diet and how our bodies process fats, especially unhealthy fats. So a copper reducing diet is one that would really help most of us reduce cholesterol. And the kind of fats that are good for us are ghee and olive oil. And my friend Elio taught me to say extra virgin olive oil, right, Elio? And coconut oil. Those are the healthy oils. The things that are bad for us, we find in packaged foods like crackers and cereals and things that have trans fats in them. I didn't realize that even something as benign as a non-dairy coffee creamer can be loaded with trans fats. So you have to be a label reader to look at what these things are and try to improve your diet.
Can you go back to the previous slide? Because I'm taking pictures of them. Thank you.
It's going to be available up on Kajabi. You'll have it.
Thank you. I'm done.
Okay.
Next.
When I was working on a PhD in naturopathy, and one of our textbooks was called The Answer to Cancer. And one of the core things in that textbook was a recipe for steaming apples every day. So if you take organic apples, cut them in quarters, put 2 whole cloves in each quarter, and you can sprinkle cinnamon on it if you're a cinnamon lover. And just eating that 1 apple a day is a whole day's worth of pectin and fiber, and helps to lower cholesterol. It's totally within our Dr. Naram diet. It's simple and easy and very tasty too. So an apple a day helps keep cholesterol away. So oats, and I learned this little tidbit from Dr. Steven. If you're flaring, if you have diverticulitis and problems digesting, if you're having a flare and you're like, I can't eat anything that doesn't hurt, instant oatmeal is something that you can use on a short-term basis that's easier to digest than steel cut oats and some of that stuff. So it depends if you can get the organic instant oats. It's not for everybody, but if you're having a flare, it's something that you can use as a stopgap until you can get over the flare. So nuts are a great snack for people who are trying to pay attention to their diets, and the best ones are walnuts, macadamia nuts, and pistachios for their healthy oil content. Pomegranates, they're seasonal, they're hard to find in parts of the world, but pomegranates and pomegranate juice are both really good for lowering the bad cholesterol and raising the good cholesterol, which is the healthy cholesterol, the HDL, and the lousy cholesterol is the LDL. So garlic, and I have whole clove garlics. I probably will have it from now on, because we heard from Dr. Giovanni that when he was having his heart attack, he was chewing on a clove of garlic while he was waiting to be transported to the ambulance. So garlic is so good for your heart, and it's also good to help prevent high cholesterol. And you can roast it in its pods, or you can grill it. There's lots of ways to cook garlic. 2 elixirs that you can use, and if you can stick to it for 30 to 45 days, you can lower your cholesterol with tea: ginger tea, green tea, coriander tea. And if you know your dosha, ginger tea is good for kapha, green tea is good for pitta, and coriander is good for vata. And I do have tea recipes, and for each of those, if you want to send me a message, I can get those to you specifically. But these teas are all very good. And if you can modify your diets and add the teas, you could be well on your way to helping reduce your unhealthy cholesterols. And then coconut water. Coconut water has 15 times the magnesium and potassium that Gatorade has, which is a great sports drink for those who are really active. But you can also add things to your coconut water, like a little bit of pomegranate juice or a little bit of apple juice, or if you have organic juices that you want it a little bit sweeter, and you could add maple syrup to it if you're not diabetic and you want it a little bit sweeter. But coconut water is a wonderful treat for so many things. Herbal medicine. I was surprised to find citrus bergamot that originates in Italy is a really powerful herb, if you can find it, that helps cut down the triglycerides, and it helps raise your beneficial cholesterol. And it also is very good at lowering high blood sugar. So it would not be good for someone who has hypoglycemia, where your blood sugar is too low. But I was really surprised to see just how effective in scientific studies that citrus bergamot is. And then Google. I take every day the Triphala, I don't know which is the right word, how to pronounce it, but mine comes with the Google. And so I get the things for my digestion, and I get this for my lowering my cholesterol. So in the studies, and I have the links to the scientific studies that showed a 27% reduction, from 10 to 27% reduction in people's cholesterol levels taking this herb over people who took placebo. So here is a home remedy for making your own potion to lower your cholesterol. It's a petal of garlic crushed, and I peel it and then take my flat of my knife and smash it like that. And then I actually use my garlic press to make it in nice little bitty pieces. It's hard to find Arjun in some places, but if you can find it, if not, skip it and use what you have. Ajwain powder, a half a teaspoon, and cinnamon powder, a half teaspoon. And the sugar substitute or sugar alternative, jaggery, is half a teaspoon. And if you've never looked at the health benefits of jaggery, it's amazing. It has a whole list of benefits that it has, and it's I like it over my oatmeal, and it's a good sweetener, and one that's got a lot of benefits to it. And then this is from you got to move it. We did a lot of that in the last 2 weeks, and I just loved it. I used to do Tai Chi every day, but I kind of got away from that. And some of the best stuff I found, I was in some of Cornelia's classes on movement, and I just forgot how much my body loves to move. Now that it's not in pain, I can do a lot of the moves and dances that I couldn't do 2 years ago. So I'm so grateful that because of the reduction in the toxins in my body by changing my diet and using the herbal formulas and the ancient secrets, I'm able to move and get around and do projects on my farm that I couldn't have done 2 years ago. So moving is so important. And I think Dr. Clint's given us some really good ideas, and we have some videos that are available to us that we can use to move along with if we need to. So it helps inflammation and digestion and all kinds of things. So this is the stuff to get out of your diet and lifestyle if you're really serious about wanting to reduce these toxins. So it helps prevent cancer. It helps prevent arteriosclerosis, which is a clogging of the arteries with plaque, and it helps to avoid autoimmune disorders. So smoking, excess alcohol, consumption of trans fats in the baked goods that we get at the store, microwave popcorn, frozen pizza, fried foods. Love fried onion rings, but those can be healthy for a few people, right? And red meat, dairy products, and then non-dairy coffee creamer that has trans fats. So where does adipose is a medical term for fat. And when we talk about dhatus, we talk about meta-adipose. And it's the accumulation of this bad cholesterol. And to get our bodies in balance, it starts with rasa. And rasa is plasma. And what's in the plasma, that's where all of the micronutrients are into our body. And then our liver is the thing that processes all of this and then puts out what's left over in the form of cholesterol and in the this little pearls of fat that go out through our body. So it's really hard on our liver if we're eating and consuming a lot of high carbs and a lot of the trans fats and those kinds of things in our diet. So liver love. The liver's function here is the screening of these toxins before they go into your bloodstream. And there are 13 types of digestive fires in Agni that are disturbed if we're out of balance. And that's what Panchakarma is good for, along with detox, 7-day detox, 28-day detox. At least if you can do 7 days, 4 times a week, 4 times a month, 4 times a year, quarterly, with equinox or solstice or other schedule. But I think we're going to have one starting here in a few weeks, do another 7-day detox. So it's really good for your liver to do that, give it a break. And then listen to your ama. So if you have that fire in your belly and things are being digested right, then you have a balance in your ama. But if it's imbalanced, your fire is weak, and you have things like fire in your belly and fire in your throat with acid reflux. And those are some really good hints that you need to look at what you're putting in your body and what you're ingesting. And then there's a list of my resources, and that's it. Questions, comments? So Ronnie, didn't Heidi do a beautiful job on those slides?
You should make a course of all this knowledge, and then you have everybody comment on, you teach them, that's why I requested you to be the teacher.
Thank you, Elio. You're so kind.
I love the way you teach.
Thank you. I teach what I need to learn, I need to get my cholesterol down. Another 10 points would be good, 15 would be better. But it's I need to move more. That's really, I'm at the computer too much, and my brain is very demanding. I love data, I love knowledge, and it's like, oh, but that's the one lesson learned in 70s, that if I could do it over again, I would pay much more attention to my body than I'd have my mind, because that's really the thing that sustains us. And if we view it as a temple and something that has to be honored, and look at what's going in as, is this good for the temple? Is this nourishing? Then I think it makes a huge difference. Cornelia, would you like to comment? Add to that. Talk about movement, because it's your specialty.
Yeah, well, keeping young and healthy, definitely movement has to come in. And as Clint mentioned briefly, we are all different, and that means that everyone needs different kind of movement. For some, it's running. For other one, for me, it's not running. Definitely not. I was never a runner. But for me, it has become moving to music, because that stimulates my body to move. And for other people, it's weightlifting. In the end, it doesn't really matter as long as we do move. And the movement should always be in a way that we get a kind of a cardiovascular workout, so we actually start to breathe. So because we are breathing deeper, and we are expelling also the old oxygen out of our lungs. So there's definitely a benefit just by doing that. Just like a gentle walk is good as a movement, but if we can do something that also helps us to breathe quick, more forcefully, it helps us to bring out all the negative things in the lungs as well. So whatever we do, and that has come for me very personally, it needs to be fun. Because if it's not, we are not keeping it up. We might have the best intentions to do something every day or 3 times a week or whatever, but if we are not enjoying it, then we are not going to do it. And there's always the saying out there, best intentions are not really us doing it. So we need to find something that we enjoy so we can keep it up. And and it also needs to be in a way something that is safe. We often think that running is a good way of getting fit, but from my experience with working with a lot of athletes, it's not necessarily the best way of getting fit, because if you're not running properly, if you're not using your feet properly, you might end up really having issues with your ankle joints, with your knees, with your hips, with your lower back. And you're kind of thinking, but I'm doing something good for my body, but it might not be. So paying attention, and that is again what I was saying, for everyone who is in the MEE, we did some body awareness exercise to become aware of how we move. How do you place, for example, when you're running, how do you place your foot on the ground? Are you actually putting your heel first, or are you actually more on the side of the foot? Because whenever you're not putting your foot down properly, that has an effect on the rest of your body. It has an effect on the next line of the joints. So the ankle joint, the knee is affected. So all of that is affected as well. So finding an exercise that really suits you without harming you, that is what we all need to do in a way. And as I said, for me, it's the movement and the dancing, because it's just so much fun. And it can be just put on some music, something that you like to move to, and just move your body for 5 minutes. That's enough to get your heartbeat up to, and you do something that you really like to do. And as they are saying, dance as if no one is watching. I guess that's what I have to say at the moment. And of course, your presentation was really, really good. I guess.
Thank you. I appreciate that, especially coming from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Does anybody have questions of Cornelia? This absolutely is her expertise on movement, how to get started. Any other questions you'd like to ask about that?
When you give the classes, Cornelia, you don't exactly advertise them, it's a stealth mission.
Yeah, well, I haven't had that much time lately to do some more classes, but I will definitely go back to that to really teach them. I'm just doing them privately at the moment, but I will definitely teach them again, because it's something that I enjoy a lot, and having someone dance with me, that is definitely even better than just doing it on my own.
Yeah, that is definitely helps. And the other thing is, when are you going to start doing what I love so much, have those classes?
From the 100-day, the teaching classes, we will do a few classes before Christmas. They are still for the people that are currently in it. And then, as you heard, there will be definitely new classes coming then in January with the new course that we are starting on the 14th of January, when we do again the full, like we had the very first 100-day course with full classes on the Saturdays. And so that will be again a completely new experience. And for everyone who hasn't done it yet, I can only recommend to do it, because it really is a life changer. That I know that everyone who is here in Immersion has actually access to it, but I also see that a lot of you haven't actually even looked at some of the videos. You haven't even gone through the program, which is totally understandable, because there's so much information there. And where do I start? Even though it's set up in a certain order and you can go through it, but with all the rest that we are doing, it's kind of difficult to do all that. And then there are so many bonus videos. But now is the chance as well to do it in a group and really go week by week together, and really take advantage of having live classes, and particularly also what Ilio is referring to, having classes where you can ask questions, because there are always questions. And then to go back and really kind of ask those questions and then have somebody explain it again in a different way is also very helpful. So yeah, Ilio can speak to that.
There is, thank you. There is also what threw me off completely, the course, was that we had a group of 4 that we were supposed to do all these things. It was all about doing, not all about reading. And what happens is we had this group, and I asked you, I asked Carol, I said, my people disappear. I have nobody to work with. Give me somebody to work with, you know, and I'll wake up, you know. So it was, I mean, complete, totally failure, because I cannot do it on my own. I want somebody, you know, to work with, and, you know, get feedback, you know, and negative feedback is very good for me, you know. Wake up, Elio, you know, you're not doing it right. So, you know, I find that a tremendous fault, you know. Whatever happened, I know, but the fact is, you know, that it is where we are.
Mm-hmm. So Cornelia, as a bonus today, I throw you a curveball here. One of the things I learned from you that I try to do every day that's so helpful is the small figure 8s with my neck. Could you lead us in that little exercise? Because I think it's such a gem and it helps so much. And with all of us who are looking down at our phones all day or looking down at the keyboard, I just think this is such a simplistic nugget of a secret for health and vitality.
Yes. Just a very short explanation to that is that when we feel kind of a stiffness in our neck, that we think it is kind of the big movements that are actually losing them. But that's not necessarily the case, because what's really holding everything in place are what's called the intrinsic muscles, which are the tiny muscles that are close to the bones, and particularly now on the spine. And by using very tiny movements, you can actually access those muscles and relax them. So what we are going to do now is imagine that you have like a tip of a pen right here on your nose, and you are drawing a lying 8 or the infinity sign with the tip of your nose. So what you're going to do, and it doesn't matter in which direction you start. I normally start from the center down to the left. So I'm going down here, and then I come up and I come back via center, and I come back into the center. That's now what I showed you, but what I want you to do is to make this movement extremely small. So I'm just showing you again. So it's this moving your head in this really rhythmic figure 8. But now I want you to make it really small. And it's more that you are kind of also imagining it. And the best is also to close your eyes while doing that. And whenever you're ready, just turn the direction around, so go the other way. And really make that movement, keep it small. And while you're doing that, you might feel into your neck. And you might also notice that one direction is more natural to you than the other. Okay, and now just open your eyes and kind of move your head around a little bit and feel if you feel a little bit more looser. So that is one way of doing that. So there's actually 3 exercises that I normally do when somebody has really, Elio?
How long? It's a number of times or a number of times?
It is until, whatever, you can do it for a minute, you can do it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it doesn't really matter. If you really have a lot of tension in the neck, you might want to do it a little bit longer, but we are doing all in all 3 different exercises. And in order to loosen them, because with each of them, we are actually loosening different muscles in the neck. And you will be surprised at what we are kind of doing. So the other one is, again, we are using imagination here. So instead of using the figure 8 here, what I want you to do is to imagine that at the top of your head, you have this kind of big fountain. I don't know if you've ever seen a fountain where the water comes up, and then on top of that water, there is actually a ball that stays on top because of the water coming up. And I want you now to imagine that your head is that ball, or is this, and you need, or your head is more or less the top of that fountain, and you want to keep that ball right sitting there. So you're trying to kind of, it's an imaginative exercise. So bear with me. So you imagine that you have to move your head in small, tiny movements to keep that ball rolling on top of that water fountain. And so just try to make this, adjust that. Imagine the ball is rolling and you have to adjust a little bit. So these are really tiny movements that you're doing here. And just let your imagination and your body decide where the head is going. If it has to go a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, to the front, a little bit in circles, whatever. And it's actually your body that is more or less deciding what it needs. I don't know if you can feel that your body is actually making tiny, tiny movements, or your head. Okay, then just open your eyes. We are not doing it too long, but now just again move your neck and feel if you feel a little bit looser already. I mean, I can feel it because I was actually staring at my computer for a while now, and I can feel how my neck is much more relaxed. So the third one, we are going back to the figure 8, but this time we are actually, at the beginning, we have our eyes open. So what I want you to do is that you use your eyes and you do the figure 8 with your eyeballs. So you're going really, you look down, you look up, you come into the center, and you go around in circle. And again, just do this. You can keep your eyes open at the beginning, but if you can also close them. and just use your eyes. And again, these movements are tiny that you're doing with your muscles in the eye socket. And then turn the direction around, so you go the other way. And then again, just move your head slightly, open your eyes again, and then just move your head and feel if there's any difference to when you started out. Any, Michelle, you're nodding your head. Can you feel a difference? I asked him. Oops, sorry, you clicked.
Yes, I mean, I have terrible neck problems. I mean, not only because of computer. And these 3 exercises, of course, they cannot get my problems away, but I can much better turn my head. So it's wonderful. Yeah, really.
Okay, so if you have even bigger problems, what you can do is when you turn your head to the side and you use your eyeballs again. So you put and go as far as you can right now. So turn your head to the right and check how far you can go with your head. Check a point on the wall. That's how far I can go. That's what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back into the center. And then you do the same to the other side. That's actually, everyone can do that. It's a brilliant, if you really have big problems with your neck. And again, put something here with your, where you can kind of, on the wall. That's how far I can see now, right now. That's the range of motion I have with my head at the moment, and come back to center. Now you do the very same. You go again to the right side. And when you're at the end, then you use your eyeballs and you bring them all the way to the corner of your eye, so as if you wanted to look further around the corner. And hold it there for like 10 seconds. So you turn around and then you bring your eyes and go as if you wanted to look around and further and further and further. You're not moving your head, just your eyes. And then you come back to center. Bring your head slowly back to center. And then we do the same to the other side. So we turn to the left. And again, go as far as you could before, and then use your eyes to see if you can look a little bit further. Around, as if you wanted to look around over your shoulder. And hold it there for a moment. And then you come back to center. And now I want you to turn your head to the right and see if you can turn your head a little bit further than you could before. So you're just turning around, and if you remember where you had your very first marker on the wall, can you look a little bit further than that now?
No, not this way.
Good. Check the other side.
Tiny bit more.
Okay, this you could do like 5 to 10 times to each side. And every time when you come here, you use your eyeballs and turn them around. And when you do that, you're loosening you're not using force, because when you have a stiff neck, it's not going to work. But by using your eyes, you're actually loosening the intrinsic muscles, and that also helps relax the bigger muscles. And then after a while, you can actually turn around much further. So it takes time. You might need to do that 10 times. And also use then the other 3 that I showed you before. And that is a way to easily work on your neck tension.
Thank you. I will do that. Yeah, it's been years. And I have also, I mean, it's also the bone. I have.
Yeah. What I also see is you have a lot of tension in your jaw joint. So can you open up your jaw? That is for a lot of people, by the way. When you are opening your jaw and you bring your finger right here between the upper and the lower jaw, and if that's really painful, hold that there.
Oh.
And just holding it, holding that point, for a lot of people it's very painful. That also is connected to the muscles in the neck, and by the way, to the hip joints as well. So when you're holding that point here, then you also help your muscles to relax. See now when you turn around, you can feel the difference when you turn a little bit to the side. See, so if you could go a little bit further right now.
I think so. Tiny, but I could come back without pain.
Yeah. So these are things that you could do. You need to do it regularly.
I will.
But you can do that. And this is really, for a lot of people, we are holding so much tension here and we are not aware of that. But by putting our fingers here and just holding that point, then the muscle starts to relax. And when you really put it in, you can actually feel the pain in the back of your neck as well. I mean, I can when I put it in, and for me it's painful at the moment as well. I can feel it on my right side in the neck. So you see how that is connected. So by working actually with areas that are not the neck itself, you can still do a lot to loosen it. And so these are kind of little tricks of the trade.
Thank you for that trick.
Yeah, they're really easy to do. Everyone can do them. You don't need any kind of tools to do that. It's just your body. And over time, you will actually feel what your body really needs, and then you will sometimes just even move your head before the tension comes up, and then it will give this noise, and now it's loose again. Because the more we pay attention to our body, the more it speaks to us.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you for having me.
Sincerely, thank you. I have a 12 o'clock Zoom. I love you. Have a great time. Thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, both of you. You're beautiful.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
So to close with, I wanted to share something for mental acuity. And I think, it's something that as we age, we have to really work on mental acuity of being our sharpness. And one of the secrets in Siddha Veda of keeping our mind sharp is the power of observation. Part of it is the Dr. Naram secret of whatever you're doing, give it 100%, because it's an illusion to think we're really good at multitasking. But if whatever you're doing, if it's petting the dog or talking to your child or your spouse or your beloved, give that single act 100% of your attention. And it's amazing how you'll be able to remember the conversation. You'll be able to recall what's happening because you're giving attention to it. And I want to share with you a great story. I think Ralph Brown sent this to me. It's a story of Master Jivaka and his observation skills when he was at the Taxila University and studying there. So they're out walking around outside the university, kind of around the pathway, and he looks down and he finds elephant prints in the sand. And when he looks at the prints, he says, "Those are footprints of an elephant, but male, not male, but female. The elephant is blind in the right eye and about to bring forth young today. On the elephant, a woman is riding. She too is blind in the right eye, and she will bear a son today." Asked by his teacher, Atreya, and astonished students to explain, Jivaka mentioned, "Being brought up in a royal family, I know that footprints of male elephants are round and those of female elephants are oblong. He explained further that she had eaten grass only on the left side of the road and that she was pressing hardest toward the right side, suggesting that the foal would be male. Lastly, he explained, the woman riding the elephant was blind in the right eye because she picked flowers that grew on the left side upon descending, and the heels of her feet made deeper than usual impressions. The backward lean suggested that she too was pregnant. So it's just a small illustration of Master Jivaka, who is at the base of our Siddha Veda lineage, and how very powerful those observation skills can be. And when we're conversing with people, we can see the tension in their face, or we can see that they could use a little self-love marma. So I just add that to your challenge list to be more observant in whatever you're doing, cleaning the bathroom or sitting down to dinner with family or friends. Put 100% attention to what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Carol, for this reminder.
Yes. And tomorrow we have we have a mentoring call for training mentors at 7 Pacific, and we have our Sunday call at 8. And our MEE follows thereafter about 9:30. Okay.
Carol, I have one thing to share. Today, after the activation call in the morning, I quickly had to go pick up medication for my mom, so it was close by before this call started. So I was driving and I was at the red light and there was this car, sometimes you watch the plate, what it says, it said, "Be happy." Okay. So when I went to the pharmacy, the lady, I had to give the date of birth of my mom. So she says, "Oh, how old is she?" I said, "She's going to turn 95 this year." So she says, "Oh, what is the secret of her longevity?" So I said, I thought for a second, and quickly whatever came to my mind was, because she's happy most of the time, I guess that's her secret. So it was amazing that our call today was about that whole thing. So how the car and the pharmacy, the person who spoke, and then 2 days back I was on the phone with my friend, and she's in India, and talking to her, we were having a video call. She says, you're looking so nice after a long time. She saw me, she says, "You're looking great. Oh, what is happening?" So so I think, yeah, it's like following these principles, it does make a difference. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that.
Oh, that's great. So we can be happy, happy, happy for no good reason. Happy, happy, happy for no good reason. Happy, happy, happy for no good reason. Happy, happy, happy for no good reason.
Yeah. Thank you. It
Oh,
was
thank
wonderful,
you.
Cornelia. Beautiful share. That especially this one was something that I felt. This one something new.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I have unmuted everyone so we can put our hands together and say, "I love you and I'm with you."
I love you.
I love you and I'm with you. Thank you,
Love you
Carol.
and I'm
Thank
with
you,
you.
Cornelia. Thank you,
Carol,
classmates.
Cornelia.
This was
love you and I'm
wonderful.
with
I love
you
you and I'm with
all.
you.
I love you.
I
I
love
love
you
you.
and
I love
you.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you,
Dale, love you.
Michelle, I love you and I'm with you.
Love you, Chris.
Thank you, Carol.
Love you, Vinod.
Love you and I'm with you.